Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you about is a platform that does manage an entity which all of you are familiar with. You see all this activity going on around you, the WAST, the commercial activity of this expo, and what underlies all this activity are contracts. And what we do as a company is to provide a very sophisticated system which actually manages the contracts for you completely. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to walk you through a short video which tells the story of contracts. But while you watch the video, you can think about contracts as the bedrock on which the civilization was built. And the video just talks about that with more pictorial content. All right, so what that video was talking about was the world of contracts which have driven commerce over the history of mankind. Now, every activity that you do is based on a contract, whether it is a material contract that you explicitly create or an immaterial contract. And these contracts have been represented in a documented form as documents for a long time. But when digitization happened, the first wave of digitization, when computers entered the business world and businesses started using computers for, let's say, creating contracts, they just used the word processing capability of the tool and created documents which finally, when they were executed and realized, went back into paper form. So what the companies have over many years is a repository of paper contracts which historically encompass all the activity they've been doing. So what we do as a company is to drive the businesses more and more towards a digital world of contracts, where by a digital world of contracts we mean not just having the contract in the form of an electronic document, but taking the electronic document and extracting meaning out of it and creating a structured world of contracts. And once you use it to do your contract management, I don't think you will ever go back to the other way of doing things, simply because it makes so much more easier, right? Now, the other thing that you must understand about a contract is that contracts are cast in your natural language. However, natural language, the vernacular or the colloquial language that you speak, has a certain amount of ambiguity, a certain amount of ambivalence. And in order to mitigate the ambivalence, what you try to do is that you go to a lawyer who frames a contract in a language that is more precise, right? More precise and therefore less risky if you ever have to go to litigation, right? So the contract is framed not in English per se, but in legal English or legalese, and that's why you have to go and pay a lawyer a lot of money for their time in order to translate it. So that's a very fundamental aspect of contracts that you must understand, right? And this legal structure is governed by the contract law in every country. And what we do as a company is to absorb this framework, which has been built over hundreds of years, and create a repository for your contracts. You can manage your contracts by translating all that legalese into discernible structure that you can understand and play with, right? So I'm just quickly going to walk you through the standard aspects of contracts, right? So the customer expectations are changing. The times taken for creating contracts, managing them, executing them, right, is getting shorter and shorter. And you have supply chains which are shifting rapidly through the world, right? and your competition is evolving, and if you have to keep, keep abreast of the competition, you need to do a lot of work, right, in speeding up your business processes. A large amount of risks, other than the litigational risks or other than the legal risks, are coming up, especially the regulatory risks. And I can walk you through some samples where our discovery process actually surfaced risks which were not seen in the regular ones. And there is a lot of increasing privacy requirements and security around contracts. So what is happening is that more and more companies are changing their business processes related to contracts, first from the point of view of creation, the point of view of standardization, especially companies with a very large number of subsidiaries and so on. They actually have a whole world of different contracts in different formats written by different legal entities and so on and so forth. So when you do, for example, an acquisition and you start merging your business processes, there's always the question, are these NDAs written by this subsidiary company compliant with our NDA policy guidelines? And what we can do is that we can actually use natural language processing and a variety of other kinds of techniques to tell you whether they match structurally or they match semantically and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to walk you through some of our major customers. As a company, we have customers of all kinds, and we have some of the largest companies in the world who use our framework. And an example is Daimler. Daimler manages about 400,000 suppliers in a dynamic chain, right? Along with incorporating newer technologies in their contract management system, and in order to keep up with the competition, right? And the most important thing about this was that they actually went from their old process of management to using Icertis platform in such a short time that they said that it was the shortest transition in a business process that they have had in the entire history of Daimler as a company. And that comes from the fact that ICM, the platform, the Icertis Contract Management platform that I'll do a short demo of, not only deals with contracts, the structure of contracts, but also deals with simplifying the whole experience as much as possible. Okay, another company was BASF. BASF actually found that in their contracts, hidden in their contracts, were certain obligatory clauses which had been missed over the years, leading to rather severe penalties. And what they found was ways of discovering those clauses and discharging their obligations early on, so that further penalties could be avoided. It just happened so that there's so much of paper. These contracts are in paper form, and somebody who comes later is not either taking the trouble to read through the whole system, or is not even able to figure out what the penalty clauses and such like are. The third one is, of course, Microsoft. Microsoft uses our platform to manage a large set of customer relationships and other contracts. Then that's where we began. We actually began, Microsoft was one of our earliest customers, and we sort of built the platform around the requirements of Microsoft to manage their contract space. So what do these companies have in common? And what they're doing is that they're accelerating their business. Most importantly, they're protecting against risks, and they're, of course, optimizing their relationships. Things are getting done faster and most elegantly. And here are a sample of our customers. We have more than 2 million users spread out through our customer base, with more than 5 million contract documents, which we handle to a net value of more than 500 billion. I think it's crossed even much larger than that these days. And we handle contracts in many languages. So another problem that you have is that you're a globalized business and you have contracts in many languages. We deal with all of that. So what we claim is that when we claim that contracts are being digitized, you may point out that no, most of our contracts are already digital documents. So in this space of going from classical contracting to modern technology-driven contracting, we have actually identified 5 phases for a company. The first phase is where you take your paper documents and you have them in form of, let's say, electronic documents. The second phase is where you take those electronic documents and you have categorized them and classified them and so on. The third phase is where you are actually discovering the risks. You are discovering the obligations, the entailments and the entitlements that a contract refers to, as well as the risks that come from it. And as you go up the ladder, you move towards a world where contracts become smart contracts and can become automatically executed. And a contract does not represent just one facet. It represents the legal, it has the contextual, whatever the contract deals with, whatever actions you're supposed to do. It also has the financial components to it. So if a CFO is looking at a contract, they're interested in the financial payouts, right? And all these dimensions can be extracted out of a single document and projected as different views of the contract, right? And that is what we mean by being digitized. When we say a contract is digitized, it means whatever was in a documentary structure has suddenly become structured data with multiple views. Different people can see it the way they want to. And the other problem is that over the years, over the history of mankind, so to speak, you have had a huge amount of data, right? Now, when you say there are terabytes of data, there are terabytes of data in electronic format, but there is also probably more than terabytes of data in paper format, which you have to convert it into electronic format by scanning or passing through a digitizer and so on. And what we do, ICM as a platform can do, is to pull in data in any format whatsoever. When you can give it to us as just image files, and we will convert it and extract the data and converting it into structured data. That's one of the core skills or core strengths, I would say, of the ICM platform. And it would be next to impossible for you to try to do it without that. And how do we do that? We do that by using AI and many other techniques. And the message that we want to deliver is that, you take the hype out of AI, and we don't have a AI brain inside ICM. What we have is, as a part of your business process or as a part of your contract ingestion process, etc., we have AI components as we need sitting everywhere in the system. And they aid rather than take care of the whole problem, right? So what we have is that we have accelerated, right? And that's why we call it the AI-infused platform. Because it's not like AI is a singularly separate piece which you just bolt on. It's just threaded deep into the structure. And whenever you're working with it, like for example, you're negotiating a contract, right? I don't think I have time to walk you through a negotiate demo due to paucity of time, but when you are negotiating a contract, what we do is that we have an AI-based assistant which pops up, having analyzed the history of your activity, says, hey, you know what, these numbers that you're putting here, this is the distribution, here is where your proposal is standing, here is how much you can move it around, right? Or you're trying to do a deal with a vendor who's supplying you things, and it says, okay, here is the history of this vendor, here is the number of times he has defaulted or delayed, etc., right? So here is the overall risk that you will face, right? So we give you an intelligent assistance while you are creating the contract. Now, one of the most important things is that ICM is so simple, it's just like doing a search. Most of the things that you do is a search activity, and I'll quickly walk you through that. All right, so in the, like I said, we have all these components which we call AI apps, right? It's a family of applications which you can use. One of the most important one is the digitized AI, which is the one which actually absorbs vast amount of heterogeneous data and converts them into the internal data structures that we use to represent contracts. Another one is Discover AI, which is the one which intelligently analyzes it and so on and so forth. And I just mentioned the Negotiate AI. So I'll just switch you to a demo since we don't have too much time. All right. Okay, so what I have done in this case is that I can actually go to this is the ICM interface, a very simplified interface, and I'm showing you only very limited functionality of ICM in this demo. What we can do is that we can go to a create agreement and load a third-party agreement, right? So we just go here and say, create an agreement. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we go and say create an agreement, and you just say load a third-party agreement. You select a file. Let's say this is a master service agreement, and you just say create and publish. What this does is that PDF file is being taken in. It's unstructured data, right? It so happens that it's in English in this particular case. If it were in other languages, we have ways of translating it and so on and so forth. You can specify all of that, and it gets loaded into the ICM system, right? Once it is in the ICM system, you can go. So what happens is it takes a little while it gets loaded and parsed, and the AI engine extracts data from it. And where I want to leave you is at this part of it, where you can see that we have actually taken that contract, which was a single PDF file, and broken it up into logical legal clauses, right? And what are the legal clauses that we use depends on your legal structure, the legal environment in which you are embedded, what is your clause library, and so on. And we actually match it with multiple elements in your clause library. If you don't have a clause library, we have default clause libraries for each area of jurisdiction. And we try to find out what each one of these legal clauses represent. And we use Microsoft Azure and its cognitive abilities, cognitive search and so on, to actually extract information from this. So now I just loaded this document. It's going to take a little while for the Azure cognitive search to do the processing. I'll show you a previous document, which is easier, which probably has already undergone all kinds of things. Right? So when I loaded it last time, you'll find that the cognitive system actually separates the data, this unstructured text that is here, into all the forms of structured text. What are the key elements, right? And one of the common uses that we have is, for example, NDAs, right? Again, the system translates it into whatever languages that you specify at the load time, and it shows you the same contract in multiple languages. It's mostly used by people who have languages, contracts in, say, French, and want to see what the English versions look like so that you can see whether it is compliant. Pardon me? Yes, we do use Bing Translate. So one of the things is that most of the translation facilities, we do have our own translation engines, but we have recently infused a large set of Azure services into the system. So now this is an Azure-enabled platform. So I'll stop here, but yeah, no, that's fine. I was trying to find another document, if I could, which actually shows that there are other aspects that we can surface, such as compliance issues. So you have a contract, somebody sent you a contract, and it's a 50-page contract. How do you read this object, right? You want to know which are the contract clauses which deal with compliance related to, say, GDPR. So what we do is that we can actually surface all of it and show you that these are the GDPR-related clauses, and this is what you should be looking at. All right, do you have any questions? I think we're out of time. Oh no, we have 6 minutes, yeah.
So we have a template built in for all the uploads and different types of contracts? Is that how it works?
No. So we actually take just an unformatted text. We break up the text into, say, language clauses or language paragraphs. And then we analyze it and find out what the meaning behind it is, and then fuse them back together to construct the legal clauses. But we also have a template. Yeah.
Your data models
Yeah.
are designed with some templates, right?
Some of them. So we do have some templates. Actually, after we get this, after we parse it first, then we pass it to the template engine, which applies those templated rules. If you don't have a template, we can still absorb your contract.
So you ideally start with actually looking at what's the type of contracts you have. You look at design the template and then build the data model.
Okay, so to be precise, what we do is that we can actually take a document about which we know nothing. We can actually find out what type of contract it potentially is. We have a different matching score related to the contract. After that, we can extract clauses from it, look for specific type of clauses. So if you know that this is an NDA, these clauses are there. If those clauses are there, then we have a metadata. So these are some of the metadata is like what we call mandatory metadata, and then you have additional metadata, we can extract them, right? If it is not there, we can surface it as, you know, either a failure or a risk and so on and so forth. But you give us a new document which you claim is a contract, which we have never seen, we will try to classify it as much as possible in terms of the entities, people we find inside there, monetary values, and so on, and go through the whole system. Yes, please?
So, let's say you take a bunch of your contracts and you want to develop your standard contract.
Right.
Your limitations of liability, your this, your
Absolutely.
that. So if I'm going to generate a new I'm company ABC selling to XYZ.
Right.
I can take a standard document and then take what I'm buying from XYZ and just drop it in, and that creates my standard.
Absolutely, correct.
So that's step one. What happens if XYZ says you want to use my contract? And we take XYZ and compare it to my ABC standard and point out the differences so I know exactly what my negotiation is.
Right. So I did not walk you through the. So there are parts in the UI which allows you to launch a workflow. The workflow allows you to compare contracts, redline them, send it across, get back the deviations, and we track each deviation. So as the negotiation process goes on, we track each of the deviations, we track the commitments you have made, etc., etc., etc. At the end of the day, prior to execution, you can go back and review all of it, and we actually show you a choice, right? We even have a Word plugin. So the other point is that you don't make a contract using ICM. Right? When you have to make a contract. You make a contract using Word. So we have a Word add-in, which I have not demonstrated here, which actually allows you to build a contract completely within Word. So you just load up your Word document. We identify through the add-in all the contracts. You can say, this clause, right? I want you to send it to the third party or redline it and send it, get back the deviation, etc. We have another intelligent Word add-in, an AI-infused Word add-in, which allows you to talk to it. You can actually say, give me an MSA, and it brings up an MSA and says, these are the party names, these are the things, please replace. And you can even say things like, I think we are going to demo that perhaps in the Thursday session, right? Where you can say, I think the risk levels of this contract are too high. Can we find a less risky option? And it will go to your clause library and, for example, say, I don't want the place of jurisdiction in California. Pennsylvania is less risky, right? So here, I recommend that you use Pennsylvania. And you say, I accept or I reject. And it goes on, yeah. Yeah.
So if you look at contract, right? Contract has got a life cycle
Right.
in terms of execution.
Absolutely.
And then looking at inversions.
Right.
When you look at execution, there are many rules which are applied from the contract.
Right.
So what happens to those? It becomes an extract and managed by the ERP and the downstream?
So that is a problem that we have not released as yet. That is the smart contracts version, what you would call level 4.5. We effectively convert a contract document to a computable process. So like I said, the whole idea of taking English, which is what you and he would do, say business in, and then when you go to the lawyer to convert it into a contract in legalese, he is making it less ambiguous and less risky because of less ambiguous. Now, since contract can be made up of transactions, you can go one step further and imagine it is a computer program. So since you're a technology-driven audience, you will understand. You can ultimately reduce it to a series of logical state transformations. Once you do that, we can actually automatically track it. We say we commit to a blockchain, all the state transitions. So we do have a version of it which will commit to the blockchain, the state transitions, and say, hey, your smart contract is getting executed, and you can actually say the payment is due only if this condition is met. So we can actually convert it into that, right? That's the future work in progress. Yeah. Yes, you were saying. Yes, please.
Do you connect this, integrate with the CMDB part of the product?
Which contract management and the CRMs and stuff like that? Yes, of course. So we have integrations with Salesforce, we have integrations with Workday, right? And of course with Microsoft Dynamics. And we also work very well. So our core work environment where we expect ICM to be used is the Microsoft Office world. Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Dynamics, Microsoft Office itself, right? Intelligent plugins which work with Word, and with Salesforce and Workday and everything.
ICMDB, if I have,
Yeah,
there are assets
right.
which are contracts, so I can link with that contract.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you have a repository which we can access through an API, we can incorporate it into it, and we can create links. It is we don't have any default ways of reading it. We just have to give us access to it. And the things that I did not discuss is that we have ways of maintaining associations between contracts through things called smart links and soft links and so on. And we have visualizations where you can see the whole tree of contracts. You know, you have given a contract to somebody and so on, right? Any other questions? Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
So,
Want to take this off?